Today we're diving into a pretty serious warning from renowned astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson. See, he's calling out some of the most powerful people in tech for making scientific claims that he says are not just wrong, but, well, dangerously out of touch with reality. So let's get into why he's so concerned.
So what's so terrifying about this? For Tyson, it's not just that they're wrong. It's that these are people with the immense power and influence to literally shape our future. And they're operating on ideas that, he argues, completely ignore basic science. This isn't just some academic squabble. It has very real consequences for all of us.
All right, so what are these grand fantasies we're talking about? Well, let's start with what is probably the biggest one out there, the dream of leaving Earth behind and colonizing other worlds. 1 million. That's the number of people Elon Musk wants to have living on Mars by the year 2050. And that's an incredibly bold, and for a lot of people, an inspiring vision. But Tyson is asking a really crucial question here. Is this actually science, or is it just really good science fiction? Because, when you start to look at the hard scientific reality of Mars, that beautiful fantasy starts to look, well, a lot more like a nightmare. The simple truth is, Mars is a profoundly deadly place for human beings.
Let's just break down the 3 big killers on Mars. First up, you've got cosmic radiation. See, Mars doesn't have a magnetic shield like Earth does, so anyone on the surface would be bombarded with lethal radiation 24/7. Second, there's no breathable air. The atmosphere is super thin and it's almost entirely carbon dioxide. And third, the soil itself, the very ground you'd walk on, is laced with toxic chemicals called perchlorates. You can't grow food in it, you can't get it on your skin, it's just poison.
Okay, but let's play along for a second. Let's say we could wave a magic wand and somehow fix all those deadly environmental problems. We're still left with a huge question. How in the world do you physically get 1 million people to another planet?
Well, even if we're generous and say each SpaceX Starship can carry 100 people, we are still talking about 10,000 separate rocket launches just to ferry the population over.
And to put that into perspective, to hit that 2050 deadline, you would need to launch a fully loaded Starship to Mars more than once every single day, starting right now for the next 25 years. It basically turns one of the greatest challenges in human history into the equivalent of a daily shuttle bus. The scale is just mind-boggling.
And this, right here, gets to the heart of what Tyson is talking about. The contradiction is just staggering. You have this belief that we can somehow terraform a dead, toxic planet. But at the same time, we're told it's too hard to solve the climate problems on our own living, breathing one. It's a massive case of cognitive dissonance.
But, escaping Earth isn't the only sci-fi fantasy making the rounds. The next big idea is about escaping something even more fundamental, mortality itself. It's the promise of uploading our minds and living forever in a digital world. This whole concept is usually called the Singularity. People like Ray Kurzweil popularized this idea that there's a moment coming when AI becomes so smart, so powerful, that everything changes. And the theory goes that at that point, we could just upload our consciousness and basically achieve digital immortality. The problem is, the logic for this prediction is built on a pretty shaky foundation. It kind of confuses Moore's law, the observation that computer chips get faster every couple of years, with a fundamental law of physics. But Moore's law isn't like gravity. It's more of a business trend in the semiconductor industry. And guess what? It's already slowing down, because we're hitting the actual physical limits of silicon. There's an even deeper mistake here too, mixing up processing speed with actual intelligence. A calculator is way faster at math than any human, but it doesn't understand math. It's just running calculations. We still don't even really understand what consciousness is, so the idea that we can just build a faster machine and it will magically appear is a huge leap of faith.
Tyson has this absolutely brilliant analogy for it. He says making a perfect digital copy of your brain isn't you any more than a perfect photograph of you is you. It's just the copy. A perfect simulation of your mind wouldn't be a continuation of your life, it would be a brand new thing. Your original consciousness, the thing that makes you you, would simply end.
So, whether we're talking about colonizing Mars or uploading our brains, Tyson argues that both of these ideas come from the same place. He calls it magical thinking. It's this belief that if you just throw enough money, enough brain power, and enough code at a problem, you can overcome the fundamental, unchangeable laws of physics. And look, this isn't just a fun philosophical debate. This way of thinking is directing vast resources. We're talking billions of dollars
and the careers of some of the most brilliant people on the planet into chasing these science fiction dreams.
And that brings us to the real cost, the opportunity cost. Every dollar, every hour, every brilliant mind that we spend chasing these impossible fantasies is one that we're not spending on the urgent, solvable crises we face right here, right now, on Earth. Things like climate change, pandemic preparedness, you name it. That's the real danger.
Now, to be super clear, none of this is about being anti-technology or anti-ambition. Not at all. It's a plea to focus all that incredible ambition on innovations that are actually grounded in reality.
Think about the Apollo program. Getting to the moon was an absolutely incredible feat, but it was an engineering problem. The mission worked with the laws of physics, not against them. And that is the huge difference between a visionary goal and simple wishful thinking.
So what's the alternative? Well, instead of trying to escape Earth, we can use our technology to work with our planet's systems to make life here better for everyone. Instead of trying to replace our humanity, we can enhance it. And instead of chasing fantasies, we can focus our incredible tools on solving the very real problems that are staring us in the face.
Ultimately, this whole thing points to a much more profound and, honestly, a much more beautiful idea. The real miracle isn't escaping our physical bodies or leaving our planet. The miracle is that we, as a part of this universe, have evolved to a point where we can actually begin to understand it. We're already extraordinary.
And that leaves us with one final big question to chew on. The laws of physics aren't suggestions. They don't care about our business plans. So should we invest our future in trying to find a way to escape them, or should we focus on exploring the incredible, infinite potential that already exists right here within them?